are back on the Sayless Projects podcast, and I promise me and this guy did not coordinate the matching shirts. We just live it, you know. I got my man Thomas here with me. Thomas, what's up? Say hello to the people.
How's everybody doing?
So, Thomas, welcome to the podcast. Why don't you introduce yourself? Let people know where you're from. I always ask everyone kind of like how you got into running, which since running's a big part of this Sayless Projects podcast. So just kind of tell people how you got into running, where you're from, a little bit about yourself.
From Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, currently residing in Dallas. I got into running actually when I first started running was when I was in the military. That's when I got my first taste of shin splints. And then as time progressed on throughout the military, I would, run more miles. I never really got into like enhanced endurance training until really when I got out of the service is when I started training for, like really longer distance mileage. So I'd say the military is when I first really started.
Awesome. And then so in the military, I mean that's kind of like a forced running, which is probably was good for you. But how about when you got out of the military? And thank you for your service, by the way.
Absolutely.
So
Thank
getting
you.
out of the military, how did you just keep it going, or did you fall off and find your way back to it?
It's a great question. I I always held a certain standard to myself that you can't deviate from the plan. And my plan that I set for myself was I have to put myself first. And me putting myself first was setting aside a certain portion of my day to go to the gym, to do a workout, to do an exercise. And when you build up those consistent habits over the course of years, it's kind of like that momentum that you get. You don't really want it to stop. And you build up so much momentum and belief within yourself that if you do stop, you just feel as if, did I stop because it was a choice? Or did I stop because I really just couldn't do it? And if it's a choice, then that's something that I have to live with. And that's personally that's difficult for me. So yeah, I just haven't stopped, man. I still instilled that same exact mentality that I had in there and carried it over because that is what laid the foundation for who I am today.
I love that. I was talking to Craig about this, one of your fellow runners, and we talked about what would you say are the reasons why? Because you seem like since I've gotten to know you over the last year, when I first met you, I remember you pulled up to Oak Cliff Run Crew, and I was like, man, who's this? Who's this hybrid athlete over here? But you're someone who takes care of yourself. You're someone who takes care of yourself physically, mentally. We've had great conversations and gotten to know each other. So, what do you think caused that mentality for you? Was it something? Was it your parents? Something they instilled in you? Was it something that happened to you growing up? Like, what caused you to have the motivation that you have?
I fell in love with fitness initially because of the way it actually made me feel. That was what kind of got me in was initially I just wanted to be jacked. I just
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to. I was like the biggest thing was like I was like, how
that's real.
jacked can I really get, you know? But then as you go along this path, you start to find different pieces about yourself. When I was in the service, I was training hard. But then I realized that there was something missing. And I didn't come from, I mean, my parents did the absolute most they could for me and my brother. I didn't come from um, any upscale household or anything like that. I mean, probably lower middle class. And um, I knew I wanted more for myself. And the way I can set that was to, because your body and the way you treat your body and the things that you do, it forms a mental callus. And that mental callus is what actually carries and that discipline carries into other portions of your life. So what I did is I was like, how many difficult things can I actually do? Because it's the same thing that I've heard actually with David Goggins. When I first read Can't Hurt Me, that book actually changed my life. And it was this small, meticulous tasks of when you say that you're going to do something and you actually follow through with that plan. And what that does is that grows a certain part in your brain that overrides these negative mental notes that may come in a period of time saying, "Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you should stop. You should quit. Let's just take it easy today. Let's not. I mean, it's okay. You can have that pizza." It's not about that. It's deeper than that. And what it's about is when you set that, when you have those built up mental calluses over the course of time, and it's not the big wins, it's those small wins. That compounds and that's what really creates true discipline. And it's just about the discipline, the consistency and the discipline to hold it to that standard to show up every single day. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that really is, I have a fear, and my fear is to die with regret of what I could have done, but I was too scared or fearful to do it. Because when time is
Yeah,
too late, when it's too late and, you're sitting on it's like you had the opportunity to do something. Opportunities sometimes only come once in a lifetime. And if you don't seize that moment, it may never come back again. It's like a comet. So that's one of my biggest fears is why would I want to be why would I not why would I not want to find the absolute best version and see what I'm truly capable of while God gave me the ability to put that forth.
absolutely, man. I love that. I love the mindset. I love the thing you just said about like not dying with regret. I think that's such an important thing. Some people may hear that and think, "Oh my gosh, like, it's too much pressure." But like you said, it helps you kind of like show up for yourself and show up when things are tough. When it comes to say less projects, when I asked you if you want to be a part now, you had already expressed to me interest, but what's your reason behind being involved in this effort?
This effort for mental health awareness is something that really means a lot to me. And I remember my time in the service seeing people. Just to give a quick backstory, when I was in the Coast Guard, we used to have to do like a lot of search and rescue cases. There's a lot of things that aren't televised out there, bridge jumpers, accidents, all these different things. So one
Mhm.
of my first cases was actually, it involved a young kid who was apparently a medical student at one of these universities out in New England. And we're going to this case. I'm freshly certified first aid, and there's this young kid, and I'm just questioning as to what prompted this kid to even like be on the edge of a bridge right now, the day before Christmas. And a lot of thoughts were running through my head. We were standing by for hours, and then the kid he jumped. Once we recovered, as soon as we recovered the body, we're rushing back to shore. They had me get on CPR and first aid, and I was the one that was trying to resuscitate this kid. And I'm like, this kid is my age. Like, what was probably going on through this kid's mind that made him feel that way? He didn't make it, and I saw his parents come to the station. And his mom just kind of had like a lifeless, just like look to her, and that
Mhm.
really, I just wondered. I was like, okay, well. This kid might be successful. He's in medical school, probably doing well for himself, but what maybe triggered this to happen? And a lot of times what we think is we think success is actually defined as that somebody is just all set mentally because they have materialistic things, because they drive the nice car, they have the nice watch, they always go out, they always look good. That means that they're healthy mentally, that they're happy. And true happiness doesn't come from exterior motives, it comes from internal motives. And those internal motives have to have a direct correlation with your own core beliefs. So seeing all these different things throughout the course of my life, it really made me realize, like, even for myself, being at dark periods in my life where, whether it's relationship wise, whether it's financially, my parents going through a rough divorce when I was younger. I can make an excuse for a million different things, but at the end of the day, the only person that can truly care more about yourself, about you, is you, right? So it's up to you to uphold your legacy. It's up to you to do all these things, and it's a tough thing to do because life is hard. It really is. It's not easy to get up every day and do what we do. But that's why I
No,
come back to that, and that's why just really quick, that's why I come back to like that mental callous aspect, Vince. It's building that small mental callous, those disciplines, and being able to do this with other people. Being able to have this run together, um, running for a certain cause for mental health awareness, not even for the military, but for everybody else, men or women that are suffering from that. It's just keep going.
man,
One more step, because there
man,
is light at the end of the tunnel.
that's crazy. I didn't know that story. That's tough, man. I can't imagine having to experience that firsthand. Thank you for sharing, man, your why behind the what. I think it's important for people to hear that. And what you said is so powerful. Like, you think about all the people that we've seen publicly take their lives that, they're famous or wealthy or whatever. And to your point, it doesn't always mean that that person is doing great. And if anything, we have to check on those people just as much as we have to check on anyone else. And so, as far as you, what about for you? Obviously, we've talked about you go to the gym and you take care of yourself physically, but when it comes to mental health, and the challenges that you deal with on a weekly basis, what are some of the things that you do to help you keep your mental health in check?
I'm an avid. Uh, I turn to God. I feel like that's one place where it's a safe haven for everybody, no matter what your religion may be, whoever you're the high power, whoever you may look up to, whether it's an individual, whether it's a higher power or figure, whoever that may be, is you should have somebody in your life where you can turn to and just be able to pour things out.
Hmm.
And another alternative is that if you don't have anybody, because some people don't. Or maybe they haven't found God, or they don't have anybody to turn to. Turn to yourself. And what I mean by that is take out a journal, write down your feelings, and then write down what positive, because you can't focus, if you consistently focus on a problem, you cannot solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. So it's all about perspective. When you look at a situation, instead of looking at the situation as, why is this happening to me? It's more about, what is this trying to do for me? What is this trying to teach me? Because life is all about experiences, and those experiences form beliefs. And at the end of the day, those beliefs are actually what's going to shape, um, it's going to shape your future, right? So, I personally turn to God. Meditation is great. Being able to sit. Most of us can. I probably need to do this more often. Is sit in an enclosed room with no phone, no music, no sound, for 30 minutes to an hour. If you're really, really that stressed, just sit for 30 minutes to an hour with your complete thoughts. After about 15, 20 minutes of complete silence, you start to like hear yourself internally. So all those different things is, you have to take self time for yourself. And at a certain period of time, my phone goes on do not disturb. It's after a certain period of time, it's this is my time. And I'm okay with being selfish with my time. Because at the end of the day, if you allow other people to take advantage of that, they will take advantage of that as much as they can, and then you're going to be feeling like you're kind of drowning in other people's, whatever they may need from you. So, um, one is journaling, two is communication, just be able to talk to somebody. Three is meditation, and I'd say four is doing hard shit. And what I mean is like doing hard things and difficult things that truly, truly challenge you, whether it's physically or mentally. When you overcome that, that builds a certain, it's like you're building a fort. It's like a brick and a brick and a brick and a brick. And now you've created this fort within your mind of saying, I have a stack of undeniable proof that I am who I say I am, right? And it's to have that dog mentality every day, knowing that life is going to kick your ass, it's gonna fuck you up, and you have to know that and just be prepared, man. It's like if you're gonna go step in the ring with Tyson, are you gonna just you got 3 months to train, you're just gonna go wing it the last day, or you're gonna actually be like, okay, I know this may happen. We get knocked out. But am I gonna prepare to give myself the best fighting chance, or am I just gonna go in blindly and just wing it? Probably gonna prepare. So that's what it's about, is knowing that life, one way or the other, no matter how things may be going at that period of time, that's um, there's going to be a time where you're going to have a reset period, and that reset period is the period that actually builds you. That's what actually makes you a stronger, wiser, more wholesome individual, man or woman. So all those different things I say are just finding healthy alternatives to and outlets to really just help you, because life's a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things as you're talking, man, because I appreciate everything you just said. One of the things I can't help but think about with this team is I love the extreme differences between all of y'all. And I'm gonna segue this into the next question, but I love because me and you, I would say we're probably more similar in the mindset mentality stuff that you just shared. We may present it or say it a little bit differently, but I'm rocking with you on all that. And then there's people who, they just their personality is a much more uh, like me and you are optimistic, but we're also, I would say, like we look forward to the challenges. We probably manifest more challenges than we need to just because we like to go through stuff. But there's people who are able to just go through life and just be full of joy, and you would just think like, how is this person just floating on water? But there's all kinds of different, there's not one way to have good mental health. There's multiple ways, and I love that all of you 12 relay runners have shared the different ways you see it or the different ways you go about it. So thank you for sharing. As far as you running with the team, what are you looking forward to when it comes to being on the road with the team? I know you're in the group chat with them, and you've probably seen some of their stuff. But what are you looking forward to on the journey from Dallas to Austin?
There's nothing like going through hard stuff with people when you maybe not be getting much sleep. You really see the true side of the people when you might be hangry, when you're tired, when you're sore. You really, really see how people really act and are. And that's actually the best time, is when you go through those times with people when it might be 1 or 2 a.m. You're sore in that van, and I know you probably haven't got much sleep, and it's like, oh, you're up to run, man. You're like, I gotta run again. You sure? You sure? You sure you did? No. So it's like being able to do that with other people, even though we have different other differences. It's like it's go time, and for myself, this is, like Vince, you've seen I've been actually building certain blocks and training for marathons, and God has taught me different things. I've been battling some injuries, but just never give up. Like it's going to be amazing to see how during this two day journey on Memorial Day weekend, running for a cause, uh, you know, on the side of a road going to Austin, Texas, and in the heat. It's like, what else can you actually? That's something that I've always probably wanted to do. But it's definitely like a bucket list item to say that I've been able to be on a relay run from Dallas to Austin, running for a cause, and that means a lot more. So I'm really looking forward to running with everybody, and seeing the two sides.
Awesome, man. Well, before I let you go, I know you got to get on the road, but I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for stepping up and being present and persevering. Like you said, I've been there with you the last several months and you've had some unfortunate injuries and setbacks, but to watch you continue to get up and work hard and push and motivate yourself and motivate others has been inspiring. I always tell the guys around me, like, you're the one person that I have to demotivate because you go too hard for your own good. Um, but I love it, man. You push me as someone who's a bit older than you, and I'm proud of you for modeling that as we've gone through that this last season. So I'm looking forward to your
Appreciate that, man.
journey. I'm looking forward to seeing you bring that energy for the team when they're tired and everyone's going through it. I'm looking forward to seeing you just promote mental health and good habits on the road. So thank you for your time, man. We'll see you soon.
Likewise, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, man. Later.
All right, later.